and welcome back to another episode of Thompson's Comic Corner. I'm your host, Zach Thompson. It's me. I am here with a great guest. Um, I, I'm excited to have him on my show. It's really cool to have like all the people that I listen to on Spotify and everywhere else that you can get podcasts. So today's guest is George from Shortbox Summary.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Zach. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on, man. Like this is cool.
Of course, yeah. You asked me to read a book that is not um anything I cover on my show, so I was more than happy to do it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, see, I try to find things that are different. So like I don't want to read everything that everybody reads, you know what I mean? Like I try to find something that just seems out off the wall. And I mean a story like what we're covering today, it's pretty off the wall.
It sure is. This is from an era of Marvel that I'm not the most familiar with. I took a break from Marvel specifically in like 2011 and from DC too. I was still reading like some Image books at the time. But man, Fear itself from Marvel really just pissed me off. So I stopped reading Marvel books and the New 52 over at DC really pissed me off. So I took a break from DC too and then I was just reading what I could find from Image and Dark Horse and Dynamite and stuff like that just to get the comic book fix, but I needed a break from my superheroes who I loved very much. And then Rebirth happened in like 2016, and that was when I got back into DC. And then there was a new Captain America book by Nick Spencer and Jesus Saez, I think, Saez. And that got me reading. And then there was a big bold thing that happened at the end of that first issue. I was like, holy shit. And like I don't know if it's very good, but it's entertaining. And the most important thing to me was that it was new. That was the thing I cared most about. And this book you asked me to read today. Oh man, I don't know if it's good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun reading it because it was so new and so fresh. Not a lot of stories like this out, so I was happy to read it.
Now the story that we're talking about is Secret Empire, which came out in 2016, correct?
2017.
All right, so 2017, and everybody knows. I mean, this is a spoiler. I don't give a shit. I mean, this book came out in 2017. That was almost 10 years ago. So, Hail Hydra, the old Captain America looks right at you and says, Hail Hydra, started this storyline. And for me, I didn't know that was a thing. So, I quit reading comic books for a very long time and got back into it in like 2022. So, for me, I heard about it, and some people were pissed. They were like, "Oh man, this is garbage. Why would they do that? They ruined Cap." For me, dude, I love seeing like new takes on characters.
1000%.
So for that happening, and like you threw something at the wall and it stuck, like that's fun. And like this story takes place after Civil War Two.
It does. That is one of my dark spots. I went to comicbookherald.com, which is just like a website I like to use just for reading orders. And I just like to look at it, like honestly to figure out, all right, like which event goes into which event goes into which event. And so like I stopped with Fear itself. I read some Avengers versus X-Men after the fact when I was back in my days of pirating comics. And I read some Marvel Now, like way after the fact. But like I didn't read Age of Ultron. I read Infinity after the fact because I like Hickman. I was reading some of Original Sin as it was coming out. I didn't read Axis. I didn't read Spider-Verse. I read some of Secret Wars, but then I moved from Boston to San Francisco and I just stopped reading it halfway through. I did not read All New, All Different. I did not read Avengers Standoff, which is basically like a prequel to this story, like helps set up this story. So like when I first started, like this felt like I was like seeing extremely familiar faces, but I did not recognize this Marvel universe at all. Tony Stark was microphone there. Tony Stark was Amadeus Cho was running around as the Hulk. Hawkeye killed Bruce Banner. So much shit was going on that I was just like, what the hell is going on in Marvel? Like, it really felt like that meme from Community where it's like Donald Glover comes back with the pizzas and the entire apartment's on fire. Like, that is what it felt like jumping into the story without the most context. Now, I host Shortbox Summary. That is a podcast where I go back and look at the comics I was reading in high school to figure out if they were good or if I was 15. So I know that shit like the back of my hand. I don't know anything about this era. So it was fun just like jumping in and like figuring things out on the fly. Like it reminded me of when I first started reading comics and having to put shit together to make the stories make sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I like I said, I like out of the box stories. So something that's like not the normal, like this, like one of my favorite, like out of the normal is the Elseworlds Red Sun Superman.
Oh, yeah.
That book's a lot of fun. Or like obviously this book right here. I like the you put a twist on it. I don't like the normal. Like I get tired of the normal. The normal gets boring after a while. So for me, I could read Captain America like right now. Chip Zdarsky's writing Captain America, and it's really good.
Yeah.
It is. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, but I kind of like this book more than that, and that book's pretty fire.
Yeah, no, that book's great, but that book is also like how do we reinvent Captain America for the 21st century? And then this was just like how do we reinvent Captain America completely? Like what's
Right,
the worst thing that could happen to Captain America, you know?
and they have so many like fun little things that happen like in the middle, like while this is all going on, because like now there's hundreds of tie-ins to the story. Again, we're just focusing on the main storyline. But like you have Hank Pym, who's now half Ultron, or it's full Ultron, but he has half of Hank Pym's face. Like that's kind of fucked, and it's fun. Like I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Oh, that was probably my favorite issue of the entire series, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, where he has the creepy little dinner for them, and it's like
Oh,
supposed to look like
absolutely incredible. Yeah, and then like it was like some backup brain of Tony's. Again, I still don't fucking understand that. Like, I think I'm pretty
he's
sure
in a
Tony Stark
coma.
got into a coma in Civil War 2. Like, that's like me context cluing shit together. So I think that's what
Yeah,
happened. And so this was like a hologram backup that was using an old armor, but like it's back from when he was a drunk. What, like, sure, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, if you tell me that's a story, that's the story we're gonna read. But like, so it's like old Tony yelling at like old Hank, who's actually Ultron, but is like being suppressed by Hank, and then like brand new Tony, or sorry, brand new Steve, brand new Captain America, or sorry, Hydra Supreme Leader, and then like a fucked up version of Thor, you know, and it's just like, oh shit, like you guys have lived so long, like you've become the complete opposites of who you used to be, or in some cases, you become exactly who you were 50 years ago, you know?
right. And
It,
like
interesting shit.
I do like how when um Hank Pym talks about when they're at the dinner table and he's like, I don't even recognize you guys. And Tony starts saying, yeah, see, this is Cap. And he's like, no, I don't even recognize you. And I find like he even said something about the old school armor and like Captain America like stuck up for him. So like Hank Pym has no idea that it's an AI generated Tony Stark. And
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of cool. Like I picked up on that. Like nobody speaks about it. And I was like, I was like, maybe Cap doesn't know that that's not Tony. Like that was something that I clued into, and I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool how they played that off.
Right.
And then and then I really like Black Widow's role in this. Spoiler: she dies. She gets broken neck from the
Oh
shield
my God, that was
of
fucking brutal. Like that was actually, I want to talk about the art from that for a second. This book is honestly, I really enjoyed it. It is also a clusterfuck. Like Nick Spencer was the writer. It got pencils from Rod Reyes, Daniel Acuna, Steve McNiven, Line SSU, and my favorite penciler who contributed was Andrea Sorrentino. Now I know Andrea Sorrentino from this horror comic that I think actually came out after this book called Gideon Falls. By I think Jeff Lemire wrote it, but the art by Andrea Sorrentino. That scene in particular, where it's Cap's like original shield that Hydra Nazi Cap is using, breaking her neck, that it was like a haunting image. Like that shit stuck with, like, I close my eyes, I can still picture it. Like it was such like a devastating panel the way it was laid out. It was so good. It was so
Yeah,
good.
they played off your emotions in that. Like it was just it hits you pretty hard. Now, what's crazy is this is technically mainline. Like this is main continuity, correct? Like it is supposed to be the 616,
Yeah.
technically. So everything, all right, so sorry, people that have not read this book. This all takes place because of the Cosmic Cube, because the
Yes.
Red Skull changes Steve's background. He ends up, Hydra, having him as a Hydra sleeping like sleeper agent. That's the whole point. That's what happens. This is what happens. And then at the end, guess what? Everything goes back to normal, or so you think. Everybody that died is still dead. They don't come
Right.
back, technically. I mean, as far as we know, when you read the end of the book,
Right.
like Black Widow's still dead. But now the cool part is when you read the end, the last issue. First off, the art for this book is beautiful, and the cover for issue 8 with that boss ass like that suit that he's wearing when he has the cosmic
Oh
cube
yeah.
in his
No, those
star,
are those are Mark Brooks covers, man. That guy is talented. Yeah.
like he hit that shit, and he knocked it out of the park. And like you have Hydra Cap, and he's gonna battle Captain America, Steve Rogers, which kind of sounds fucking weird, but I don't even know how to explain it because it is Cap versus Cap, but the little girl that is the cosmic cube, she is that like what is that?
Okay,
Like I
so that
understand it. Like what is
the
Cap technically? The other Cap.
the other cap is technically her memory of Steve before she changed it. So she was a living cosmic cube. She's this character called Kobik, right? And so Maria
Yes.
Hill had this, from my understanding, because again, I never read it. It just didn't seem that interesting. Maria Hill had like this secret society of people who were like former villains, former problematic heroes, whatever. And they were basically all like sedated by this cosmic cube that she had come across. And this is the Avengers standoff crossover. And so Steve was actually old at the time. Like I think he aged up post like Marvel Now shit. And this is all part of like the Marvel Now to like give Sam a chance to be Captain America and like just actually try something different. I read a bunch of those Avengers issues. A lot of them were like Mark Waid, like a super fun era of comics. I've only read the Avengers issues. I've only read the Thor issues. I can't really speak to the greater Marvel line. I know that's an era people like to complain about because people fucking hate change and they're babies. Like that's why they complain. Like I don't know anything else to say about it. They're like, no, Peter Parker should be broke forever. I'm like, Peter Parker's a fucking loser if he's broke forever. Like, that's my take on it. So he was old, and then like they needed Captain America first. It's like they wished him to be younger, but like she was influenced by Hydra and was just like, it'd be better if you did this and introduce him to Hydra at a young age. And so that was what happened in the Captain America book at the time that was being written by Nick Spencer. To their credit, they reveal all this in the first issue, and then like the first tie-in from Captain America to the Secret Empire book is issue 16. So like they let it fester for a while. I can't remember if that book was double shipping, like, 2 issues a month, which was not uncommon then. But like just to go 16 issues deep before like he makes his move or whatever. And then like some heavy, heavy shit happens in this book, man. And like honestly, the parallels to today, it's kind of crazy. Just like when you talk about like the over militarization of the police, like that was what Hydra was doing in the comic. Like they bombed the fuck out of Las Vegas in this book as
For
retribution
no
for
reason.
the
Yeah.
resistance doing something. And like Steve was even like said he couldn't do it, so someone else gave the order because he didn't have the heart to do it. And it was just like all of a sudden he realized like, oh, if I'm going to do this, I need to really commit. And then that was when he became ultra fucking Nazi shithole, shithead. And like that was just him rising to the moment, I guess. And like you can say what you want. This book came out in 2017. I'll let listeners put together in their own heads what cultural geopolitical events were going on in 2016, 2017 when this book was coming out. But man, yeah, just having a paramilitary police force roaming US cities, it's just like, oh fuck, this book hits hard almost 10 years later. Who saw that coming?
Right. No, like there's a lot of things that go on in this book that like it kind of hits hard. Like today. You know what I mean? Like it
Mm,
is, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because this was written almost 10 years ago. I mean, pretty much. I don't know how long it takes them to go into production, but we'll just say 10 years. Because you know damn well they had that idea for a while. Now, the Hail Hydra moment does not happen in this trade paperback. That happens again like way before it. But everybody talked about it, and I think that was the reason that this storyline is very popular in the aspect of it's very commercial success. Like people do like this story. Now, granted, you have like the old people that are like, "That's not my Captain America." Well, that's the point.
yeah.
You know, you can't have him beating up Nazis every day because it gets old after a while. You have to have something else. And I do like the idea that Captain America was able to do all this and nobody knew it. Like that's perfect. Like he would be so unsuspecting. Like you would not expect the man, we're just gonna say Hulk Hogan. This is a perfect example. You didn't expect Hulk Hogan to be a bad guy, and then he was the head of the NWO. Look at that. Like that's the perfect. That's what I'm saying. Like that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I
Bad
mean,
guys
I
bad
like it.
guys live forever, you know? What can you
Yeah,
say?
like
Yeah.
I genuinely like this story. Like I'm actually glad that I approached you to read this because I know that you are more of a Marvel guy. And um, I wanted to get something out of my like this is like not something that I would read.
Hmm.
Like to be honest, like Captain America to me is like Superman. And if you all right, so
Oh,
listeners, if
interesting.
you listen to my last two episodes, you'd understand that I have found a newfound love for Superman because I read Death of Superman and then World Without Superman. And they are two very good stories. But with that said, Superman is literally like vanilla ice cream. He's fucking white bread. He's boring. And Captain America falls under that same thing because he has the same values. It's really hard to make Captain America the bad guy unless you completely do a 360 and you throw him in as Hydra. And they did that, and it was perfect. And that's why this works so well for me, is because, he's the complete opposite. I mean, you did completely like this is not Captain America, but he still has his morals though. Like he doesn't want to kill his old friends. Like he does not want to do that. Like he actually
Hmm.
has like compassion for these people, but he knows that that's something that he has to do. And like you can tell that it conflicts him. Like he has to have somebody else make the order. Like they have to do it because he can't do it
Hmm.
until he gets the
My
cosmic cube,
favorite,
and then he wants to be an asshole.
right, right. My favorite part of the story is definitely like the dinner with Hank as Ultron. It was just fucking weird, you know? Like it's just like a weird body horror comic that I'm just like, oh, I can't turn my eyes away from this. I mean, my second favorite storyline was like the memory of Steve surviving within Kobik because like I'm not the first person to say this, but my favorite aspect of Captain America, I totally get the read that he is boring, he's vanilla, he's cookie cutter. I completely understand that. I don't think you're wrong for, I'm going to say like 95% of all Captain America comics, maybe 90% of all Captain America comics. I do think that they are kind of following a very established mold. I will say my favorite Captain America stories are not when he's, I love America for what it is. It's when he loves America for what it could be. And so that subplot of him in like Red Skull called it hell. It seemed more like kind of heaven or like kind of purgatory or something, but where it was Steve and his friends finally being confronted by Red Skull. We learn that he's within Kobik's mind because this is the memory, this is the preservation of who Steve was before his history was rewritten and before history at large was rewritten because of the Cosmic Cube. But it's just like him being like, no, like the fight for freedom is the only thing that matters. Like the fight to defend people is the only thing that matters. Like the strong don't get to dictate what happens to everyone else. That's not fair. You know, like that mentality is at the center of Steve's character and really at the center of Steve's character in all the best Captain America stories. Like that's why the Epting Brubaker run is fucking great. The Remender JR run from Marvel now, like that stuff's good too. Um like there's so many, like the Ta-Nehisi Coates run is fucking dope, and that one's basically a sequel to the Brubaker run. But like that's what's making Zdarsky's shit so good right now is because it's just like no, like there's an idea of America, and that's what this person is fighting for, not for what it is, but for what it could be. And again, I'm not the first person to make that observation, but like that's what made those pages so beautiful to me was just like the unending fight for freedom, the unending fight for equality, the unending fight for fair. And that juxtaposed with him being the ultimate fucking monster in the main book, right? Like outside of this version of Heaven. It was so juicy. Like it was such a compelling book. Like I was a little frustrated because like all the issues, normally a comic 22 pages, right? Totally standard.
Yep.
An event book like that, maybe 25. First issue maybe 30, just as like a get a load of this story. These books were all between 30 and 40 pages. Like this was a big fucking honking event that they did. And
Oh,
they was and
brother,
it was 10
yeah.
issues too. So it was like almost 400 pages of books of the story, which is like Civil War's not that fucking big, you know? Like
No.
Secret
No, I
Wars, a 12 issue miniseries isn't that big.
yeah, I can't really think of any other like series that had that same page count. And like, you know, we're not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you that every page is a fucking banger and every story arc's a banger. No, that's
No.
not at all. Now it has its really, really good moments, and then it has like it doesn't have any bad moments, but it does have like, all right, we're dragging the story along because that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? Like, and not everything can be action. So yes, it
Mhm.
does have a lot of. There are moments where they just sit and talk, and like you know what I mean? Like they have their standoff moments, and you have their dialogue. Like that's fine,
Yeah.
but it's very pretty though. We
It's
will
so
say
pretty.
that.
Yeah. Well, especially like the Steve McNiven pages didn't look like we're talking about how the story shows a version of Cap that's completely new. The Steve McNiven art, I had to like remind myself that was Steve McNiven because that doesn't look like the Steve McNiven I see when I close my eyes. The Lionel Francis Yu art doesn't look like the Lionel Francis Yu art I see when I close my eyes. Like a lot of people kind of brought something new to this book, which was incredibly fitting because this was a new take on the character about what could go wrong when was it when fascism comes to America, it'll be dressed in an American flag is like a very common quote about the rise of an imperialistic fascistic nation. People might have been seeing that more on Facebook memes lately. But like the fact that it was like done, I think so fucking well with Steve at the center of it. Like it's not my favorite Marvel event by any stretch, but like, man, this is like a fucking page turner for sure. Like, you had to see what happened next. The only thing, like, I fucked up. I didn't set the foundation well enough. Like, I remember reading that Captain America book. I think it was like the trial of Maria Hill. Like, I remember that arc was like the last thing I remember before like the big turn into Secret Empire. Um, I like want to go back now and like really set the stage for this because like it feels like it's teed off perfectly off of Civil War 2, which is an event I never fucking read because I didn't think we needed another one. Like it just seemed like it did a good job of continuing, like picking up the baton from the previous story and then moving it and then setting it up for the next one, which I wasn't too excited about any of the events that happened immediately after this, but what can you do? I'm loving Marvel now. I think they're in a pretty good place now.
Well, I mean, in your defense, though, I mean, a lot of people didn't like Civil War too. Just saying.
Sure.
I haven't
Yeah.
read it because I mean, I don't. The first one's really good, but usually when you make a sequel to something, it kind of sucks.
It was the 10
So,
year anniversary. I am a huge like Bendis apologist, so if you ever cover that book, let me know. I'll jump back on. And I don't know if any of the boys from LCS have ever read that. I don't. But the thing is like I don't know if we're gonna cover it on their show, and like I don't know if I'm gonna cover that on my show. So like unfortunately, the burden's falling to you, Zach. Like you might be the only reason that these we read this book. So
brother, I will read anything. I mean, it don't matter as long as I can
okay.
get my hands on it. I'll read it. But now, in my opinions, I mean, sometimes I hurt feelings because I will say that some things suck. Like I don't care. I mean, you like what you like what I like, and eventually I want to have like an argument. Like I want to get somebody that has like a different opinion than me and like have like a friendly like, all right, we're going to talk about it. That's going to happen. That idea is planted right now. Because I know
Oh yeah.
quite a few people love The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. Everybody loves that book. I
Sure.
hate it. I can't
Fuck.
stand it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I can't. And like, I really can't wait. And I'm saving that. Like, all right, listeners, you guys get to hear this sneak peek for the 40th anniversary, right? It's the 40th. Yeah. Because it came out in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So for the 40th anniversary on that day, I'm going to get everybody that I can and we're going to talk about it. And you guys are going to get on your soapbox and you can tell me if you really like it and why I should like it. And then I'm going to get on my soapbox and tell you why it sucks because it does.
Hell
So
yeah.
just
Can't
planting
wait.
that now.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I actually don't remember a whole lot about that story, but I'm like, oh, the panel layout was good. Like the art direction was really good.
The
Um,
story, I don't have a problem with the story. It's actually,
right.
I have a problem with what you just said, like the panel layouts. I have a big issue with it, but we'll
Oh,
save that
damn.
for another
Oh,
day. Yeah.
now I'm fucking angry, Zach. Now you better
Yeah.
have me back.
Yeah. Like
Um,
it's something fierce.
I can tell we're getting to the end of the show. I
Yes,
will
sir.
say the Captain America run that happens after this is written by Mark Waid and drawn by Chris Samnee, and it is so fucking good. I cannot recommend that. This like right after this was like the Marvel Legacy event where they basically were just like, yeah, we shouldn't have been relaunching all these books and not including the classic numbering. And like we really need to pay respect and love to the heritage of Marvel. And so I think after this, like it goes back to Captain America's like original numbering up near like the 600s or something. I can't remember. But that story, first story is like Mark Waid and Chris Samnee like taking Cap through the country, like him like rediscovering his roots, like one of those like classical stories. And then like finding like old Hydra cells that are still holding out from the whole Secret Empire thing. And then it gets buck wild from there. I really cannot recommend that Captain America run enough. It's not that long. It's like maybe 15 issues, if that. So if you're listening and you read Secret Empire based on our recommendation, one, thank you. Two, man, follow that up with that Mark Waid, Chris Samnee, Captain America run. Super duper good stuff.
All right. Well, so now that we are at the end of the show, now we have to do our reviews. So it's a 5-star review. You get 2 stars for the story, 2 stars for the art, and one for the cover. And we're gonna base our the cover off the trade paperback, which I believe was issue 1.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm gonna give it. Hmm, we're gonna give it 1.5 stars for the story, 2 stars for the art, and then 1 star for the cover for a total of 4.5 stars. It's been very hard to give somebody a five
Full
star.
full
Now,
fiver. Yeah.
yeah, like now last week we had a chance, dude. Superman had it, and they fucked up the art in one issue, and it killed it. So yeah, like it was bad. It was 9 issues. It was like 8 or 9 issues, and everything flows perfectly, right? It's like your standard 90s DC art, and then they fucking throw some wild card in there, and it's just,
I
it threw it all off.
I mean, you follow football, man. Like one interception can turn a game, you know?
Yes, like
Yeah.
it fucked it all up. So for me, it's 4.5 stars. All the covers, I mean, even if we just went off the 8 main story art covers, dude, they're all fire.
They're really good. Okay, sorry. So its cover is 1 star.
Yes, sir.
I will give it 1 star for the covers because I love Mark Brooks. Story is up to 2 stars. I'm gonna give it
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna give it 1 star there, just because I actually think as far as events go, I just was reading the main story. Like I have the physical trade paperback, which included Captain America 25 and also included Secret Empire Omega as well as issues 0 through 10. I still thought, even with those additional issues in the physical trade paperback, I thought there was like some parts of the story that weren't super clear. So I'm actually just gonna dock it there, just because I'm like, oh, I feel like I should have been reading tie-ins that I frankly just didn't have the time to read because this event was massive and I didn't want to read like 80 issues for a podcast. I'm really sorry. I would totally do that, but I had like a week's notice for this one, so I did not do that. So I'll give it 1 star there. For the art, you said was another 2 stars.
Yes.
The art is 2 out of 2. Like, phenomenal shit. Like, I love the Lionel Francis Yu, the Rod Reyes, the Steve McNiven stuff. But man, Andrea Sorrentino, like it's just like so cool to have someone like that on a big main event book like this. It's incredible shit. Again, like this is like someone who's like most at home doing a horror comic, and like this is frankly a terrifying book. Like I think it's oddly fitting. If you don't know what their art looks like, imagine like Jay Lee, like the Inhumans artist from like the Marvel Knights shit back in 1998. Like Paul Jenkins writing, just like really heavy blacks, really heavy inks and shadow, and kind of muted colors, but like the panel layouts are so fucking pretty. So yeah, two for art, so a 4 out of 5, I guess there.
Yeah, see, it's so hard. It's so hard to do five. Well, thank you again for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Zach. It was so cool being on a podcast where I didn't have to research anything about 2017 to bring up on the show. I normally do like a lot of background shit, and like half my podcast is like, "Do you remember that song by Usher that came out the week this comic book came out?" It was kind of nice taking a break from that and not having to do that.
I feel that. So, all right. Well, thank you, and thank you guys, and peace out, Cub Scouts.